What's going on, everybody? Today is Monday, October 16th, 2023. We're here for round two. We just finished our Survivor 45 coverage with our buddy Mikey. And now we are joined with another very, very special guest, Mr. Josh Jones from Who All Going to Be There.
Hi.
Super excited to have you here to talk the challenge with us.
I
think, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. You already saw this, but we're going to kick off our stream with the opening, little intro video here. So here we go. Let's kick this puppy off. Oh man, I Am John Dunphy. It's such a bop, right? That song.
Yeah.
Kyle's brother wrote that song.
Really?
Yeah. It's a family affair over here.
Oh my God!
That's right.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I am John Dunphy Williams, standing the incomparable Desi Williams.
Jump ship immediately.
Dropping.
Listen, Cassidy. I was standing Cassidy last week, but I gotta switch to my winner pick for the women.
You will notice my name has not changed.
Mm-hmm. She stands by her man.
Also suffered a loss.
You are free to be whoever you would like. I am John Dunphy Williams. I am joined by my ride or dies, Mr. Kyle Petty Underwood, Miss Gina Morgino Martinez, and Mr. Josh Jones Bradshaw. Man. We are Strat Chat Pod also. That's who we are. Find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod on all the social media platforms, including Blue Sky. Come hang out with us. Throw us a like, a comment, a subscription, all that. And Josh, you want to tell people where they can find you also? Because you're joining us from another one of our favorite podcasts.
Yes, I'm from Who All is Going to Be There podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Who All There. We're also on YouTube, and you can find us on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, wherever else you listen to your podcast. But if you're interested in following me, because, I'd be sometimes funny on the timeline, you can find me on Twitter at NoChillJosh_, or you can follow me on Instagram, NoChill_Josh. Very simple.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah, so glad to have you here.
I love to talk about the challenge, so I'm just happy to talk into it because I want to get into some things.
Well, is there anything like off the top of your mind that's just burning you up that you just need to talk right away? Right away?
I like redemption for Michaela because how she performed in the first time she was on the challenge to now being first boot to now potentially being the winner. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, the growth that this, because I followed her from her first season of on Survivor, and I was a fan then, and now I'm a whole air conditioner. So I'm just proud of this girl because she's adapted. I feel like she's grown, she's matured, and she has just been a beast in this game, and she's really been a force to be reckoned with.
Yes, she has.
I love, this is the perfect way to start, to be honest, because this episode I felt like was very clear cut. We had our, daily challenge. We had some game talk in between and nominations and everything. And then we had our double elimination. So it felt like the majority of this episode was very, from competition to nomination to elimination. And I'm glad that you start with Michaela because in this past episode, I actually tweeted out during the episode about how Michaela is the thing that impresses me most about Michaela is how even when she's afraid of something, she still somehow is in top form when she goes to compete. We have seen challenge vets and I love them to death, but we've seen even Darrell drop out of a competition due to heights. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whereas Michaela is scared beyond belief. And yet she wins this daily challenge. So scared of these heights. And this is her third win out of the last 4 daily challenges. She is absolutely killing it.
Yeah, she now this season has the most individual wins from when all the teams disbanded. So Michaela really been going ham out there, and the fact, because for me, I couldn't do it. One, I couldn't climb up that ladder. That would take me forever and a day. And then trying to get gravity on my good side to walk across that beam on the hot air balloons. Who even thinks of that?
Sick minds. Sick minds.
It was crazy.
This was insane. But see, I wouldn't have gotten up to the beam anyway. Because like you said, that ladder just flapping in the wind. I don't know how, I mean, the amount of strength that did take to get yourself up there, no matter what speed you went up. If you got to the top, you should just get to go to the final just for that.
Yeah. And I do want to give a shout out to everyone, because I got to give props to everyone. Everyone got across.
Yeah.
All 10 players got across. No one fell. I was expecting Josh to fall. But he didn't fall.
A few seasons ago, he might have.
He was close to it.
Yeah, that's what got me nervous. I was like, not Josh being the one person to fall, but everyone. I got to give props to everyone. They all made it across, and they did more than I could have, even if it was on the ground.
Yeah. But yeah, Michaela was amazing. And also, Chris, we got to give, Kyle Petty Underwood's man.
That's right. Give my husband his flowers.
How did you feel so Chris and Michaela win this daily challenge. I think right now they're like the two MVPs of the season. Like we just talked about Michaela winning 3 of the last 4 daily challenges, having the most daily challenge wins of anybody. But then if you look at Chris, like, have you really looked at what the last 5 weeks have been like for Chris? So first he beat Sebastian in elimination. Then he beat Wes in elimination. Then he beat Tyler in elimination. Then he won the last 2 daily challenges. That's the last 5 weeks for him. 5 weeks in a row. All in a row.
Insane.
That is an unbelievable run, I feel like, when your back has been against the wall the entire time.
Absolutely incredible. I definitely did not think we were going to see him in the final for that reason. I was like, just from a numbers perspective alone, I was like, you just keep putting somebody down there. Eventually they don't come back. And like, not Chris.
Yeah. And that's just the last 5 weeks. He does have another elimination win on his belt from earlier in the season too. So
Rebecca's got some good takes tonight.
Yeah, Rebecca is on point.
I love Cassidy and Olivia. Olivia's amazing. I can't wait to see her in the season coming up.
I'm so excited.
What did you think? So it was super tight. I think the Michaela and Tori were only separated by like 14 seconds, and Chris and Fessy were only separated by 3 seconds, which is crazy. What did you think, though, about just generally this competition, like this daily challenge? I felt like this was kind of like weak for the last daily challenge going into a final. Like it was hard. I wouldn't want to do it, but it felt like, all right, climbing up a ladder and going across the beam. Like we see competitions where there's like trucks flying down this landing strip and they got to like jump from one thing to another. I just felt like this was a little bit of a lame daily challenge, like the last one of the season.
Wow. I got to tell you, I don't usually like those truck ones.
No,
I don't like it. It's going too fast. I don't like the hopping from back and forth. I don't know. And like also now a predetermined time when it has to be over because you're going to run out of road. I don't know. I don't really love the truck ones.
Yeah.
So that's all. Hey, who all gonna be there? Y'all gonna be there?
Hey, thank y'all for the support. We love to see it and wearing our colors.
Excellent.
I guess to your point, I think I kind of agree with you, John. Like of all the challenges we've seen, even like last week's challenge had a little bit more element of like kind of excitement and like kind of anticipation and skill and strategy. This one was just climb up 40 feet, walk across like a 15-foot beam in the air.
Right.
Yeah, it not the most exciting challenge. Like if they maybe put the oil wrestling here, as you got to fight your way to the final.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're just hard on this challenge because it's the last daily before the finale. If they maybe switch something else out, the competition itself isn't terrible.
Right.
But I think in this context, underwhelming.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Although now that I think about it more too, like the wrestling one was great, and that would have been a cool way to like fight your way to the final, you know. But at the same time, I wonder if the concern was like injury. we're one competition away from the final.
Yeah.
Let's not let anybody get injured in a wrestling match. So let's make it a little less, intense. Maybe that was the thought. I don't know.
I mean, I have heard people saying that they think this is why Hall Brawl looked the way it did in this episode as well, which
Right.
we'll get there.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that.
But I'm sorry, I still think we're minimizing walking across this little tiny beam up there in the sky where there's no nets, there's no anything. Like, where's the stuff?
Where's the stuff?
Usually you've got the thing on your back and you've got like all this netting down below. So like if that fails or whatever, this didn't look to have any of those things. Can you imagine looking down and you just see open field? Like, that's not. I think we're minimizing.
I'd rather not think about that because I don't want to imagine them trying to draw a chalk outline of a Josh shape.
Why is it gotta be Josh?
He did come the closest to flowing.
Okay.
She's ready to fight for her man.
But all right, okay. So once we got back to the house after this, of course, Michaela and Chris had to do their deliberations, choose, two people to automatically go into elimination, and we knew they would definitely be competing because it's a double elimination. So what did you think of these nominations, though? Because the first two times that we saw Michaela in power, I think the first time it was her and Fessy, and then the next time it was her and Corey, who obviously both Fessy and Corey are going to push back on like a Tori nomination or something like that. Like, this was the one that I actually expected Tori's name to be said by Michaela. But we found out that Michaela and Tori actually made a deal that they weren't going to target each other. Were you surprised that Michaela agreed to a deal that would keep Tori safe after wanting to go after her for weeks?
Look, I think Michaela's so... excuse me. I think Michaela realizes that this game is fluid and that wanting someone out a week prior is not necessarily going to be in your best interest the next week. Because knowing the finals around the corner, and now knowing that you already know you kind of missed your chance to take her out, it's best we try to call a truce with her, because like we don't want to go in against each other, and you get me, I got you. And it works for Tori because she knows that if Michaela don't put her in, the people aren't going to vote her in. She's going to get the same amount of votes that she got tonight too.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm not surprised she made the deal, but I think I'm a little surprised that she honored it, because if there was ever a stage to do it, it would have been right then. I guess the only real potential blowback now is that if there's anything cooperative that's coming in this final, obviously Tori is not going to be about it. But there's really otherwise no reason for Michaela to keep it.
Yeah. Interesting. No, I was just surprised that we even got that little cutaway of them, shaking hands, saying, but it's just so funny because it's like 2 weeks ago, Michaela's in power. If Chris had won, for all we know, we could be talking right now about how Tori wasn't even there anymore. You know what I mean? Like, just the way things happen in this game is so wild sometimes. But we ended up with, who was it? Cassidy and Fessy, right, as our two nominees to go to elimination. And we had a lot of back and forth now after these nominations were made with Josh and Bananas. It seems like it's been Josh, Bananas, and Tori have been working. Obviously, all the vets have, but it seems like there's some kind of little 3-person alliance here between Josh, Bananas, and Tori. So what did you think of Josh's position here? Gina Margino Martinez, what would you be thinking about, like, as Josh here? Because you've been working with Bananas. Bananas has been helping you. I get that. You feel loyalty to him. But I think we could all agree that Josh's real best friend in there is Fessy, right? So if Fessy is telling you, I don't want to go against Corey, I want to go against Bananas, what do you do in this position if you're Josh?
I mean, it's like, I can see the hesitation because so many of the vets in particular, like, these become season-long rivalries. So, like, I can see the hesitation of like, all right, well, I don't want to piss him off now because of what's going to happen later. But if you're going to piss off somebody either way, why wouldn't you stand by the person that has had your back from, like, if Fessy is your closest ally, that's the connection that you don't want to break for Bananas, who's not going to have your back the moment he doesn't have to. Like, he only, we've talked about this on this podcast before, that like the vets only keep Josh in as long as it benefits them. And as soon as it doesn't, he's the first one to get cut. So like, I don't know that your connection to Bananas is so strong that it needs to be this like moral dilemma,
Yeah, I completely agree. It was watching this whole debacle was. I had to take an Advil because it just caused a headache because I'm just like, I don't know. For me, I guess I'm overly emotional people like that. It gets too much sometimes, and I'm just like, sir, you know what you're signing up for when you got here. This is not your first time on the challenge. This is not your first time on reality television. Sometimes you got to make hard decisions. I know you're not trying to hurt nobody, but look, you said you was doing this for your family. You did Big Brother. You brought them home $500K, and if you try to bring home another $250K, you do what you got to do to set yourself up for the best chance of going in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to go to the finale and win. So personally, I know things are always hard to see results oriented, but I personally think what he ended up doing, I don't think was the right decision.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
It also didn't need to be doubled down on so hard. Like in something that we're saying how fluid this game is, and you of all people certainly know how a social game needs to be fluid. Why are you putting it on like your family members and all this stuff? Like, we didn't have to go that hard. Just say I'm not going to vote for you and just like be quiet about it. But like the way that you made it so much worse by having to be overly convincing. I don't think Bananas needed all that to be sold what you were trying to push. You could have just said it and just been done.
Yeah, because that's not something you play with right there. When you
the whole thing was just so messy.
Unless you don't like your grandfather like that.
Yeah,
but I'm assuming that he does. How much you talk about his family? You just. I hope God has mercy on his soul, but I don't think Johnny Bananas will.
Oh God.
Oh my God, Bananas. Yeah, Bananas. Man, he was pissed. He was so pissed. But
and he was pissed at Tori too.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, because Tori put a vote on Josh. I just can't believe that Josh at one point said to Bananas that Josh would rather vote for himself. Like, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, man?
Stupid.
But look, it was kind of concerning to y'all, the fact, I don't know, maybe just we didn't see this in the edit, but when Josh was over here crying and then Tori went and said, when Bananas came in, he said, "Oh, I voted for you." And the fact that he didn't even really acknowledge that, because for me, if I'm over here for some reason having a breakdown, I'm crying boo-hoo, and then she said she voted for me, I would snap that thing so quick. What do you vote for me?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why she thought that was the comforting statement he needed. Like,
Yeah,
well, I
really
mean, I'm the reason
weird
you're probably gonna go home, but like, it's okay.
Right, like, you feel so bad. You feel so bad. You didn't do anything wrong. I voted for you. And it's like,
right.
I'd have been like, wait a minute, what? Like,
Yeah,
it's so crazy. So crazy. It's sort of weird thing. But like, she always gets away with stuff like that, though. Like, Tori's always being slick, and like, no one like really like calls her out on it for whatever reason. They just like accept it. No, it's so weird.
It is weird.
Yeah.
Man. God. Josh is just it looks like he said he might be taking a break from the game.
Oh, really?
I do like Josh. Like, I'd like to see him back again, but I hope he comes back and like looks at the game differently. Like, I know that he's an emotional person. I'm an emotional person too, but like, if you're gonna stick around these games a long time, like, you got to get used to stabbing people in the back and getting stabbed in the back by other people. Like, it's too much. That was the one thing that I did agree with Bananas on when he walked into the room, was like, enough now, Josh. It's done. Like, but yeah. So we have Fessy and Cassidy as our main votes going into elimination. And it was a hall brawl. It was a classic hall brawl.
Wow.
Yeah,
it
except
wasn't.
was it?
Except it wasn't
No,
sick.
What the hell was this? Did anybody like this? I didn't like this.
No.
no. 'Cause I saw someone
No.
on Twitter say they felt like this was a cop out to help Bananas in the event that he ended up going into the elimination.
I saw that too, yeah.
And I gotta say, I kind of agree.
I got to tell you, when they were going so hard talking about how Josh was so broken up that Bananas got voted in, and Bananas is talking about he's sick to his stomach, I called this ahead of time. I was like, there is no way that Bananas is going to get chosen by the Hopper. It's like he's going to have the most votes. Josh is going to have one or two, and it's going to end up being Josh and Fessy in the in the elimination. It's just going to end up that way.
When I tell you, I was screaming at my TV like straight men scream at football. Like I was having a bad time during the second half of this episode. I was not having a good time.
I knew Bananas was not going on, but I really do call like shenanigans on that. Like, you know how much I love Johnny Bananas, but like, what was this? Like, you were not. This Hopper is so fake. Like, it's just so fake. I'm sorry. We all knew he wasn't going in. You're not going to cut him right before a final. He's not Anissa. Like,
and
we're
because,
not doing that.
of course, Josh versus Fessy is like the matchup. Like, I get it. I'm not happy about it, but I get it.
I don't get it anymore. I don't feel like that's the matchup anymore. Like that.
No.
No.
I mean, it was
Like,
the
maybe-
most dramatic thing that could have happened.
I think no. If Corey had gone
Bananas.
down there, that would have been
Yeah, Corey and
Corey is
Fessy
one
is more
vote.
interesting to me.
Okay.
yeah, because like they both big, beefy, kind of attractive men, and trying to go and jam at each other's little hall, and then try to do puzzle and stuff.
Yeah. And like, I know that Fessy and Corey are pretty close, but I feel like the biggest reason that Fessy didn't want to face Corey, other than being friends, is I think he mentioned it, that Fessy and Corey are they're close in weight. They're both very muscular, whereas they both Fessy and Corey have a big weight advantage over Bananas. So I could totally understand why that would be like Fessy's optimal choice is like, I want to go against Bananas. That's my best shot in a hall brawl.
Mm-hmm.
But
I also thought the padding was really whack. Like, I get
those shields.
Yeah, like I get it. Like, especially because we're right before the final. Like we were saying before, we don't want people to get too hurt. I get that, but like, it really took me out of it. Like,
There was a version of this that could have worked. Like if they made it so that like, padding, no padding, whatever. But if they made it so that like, instead of having to do this whole puzzle situation, like maybe it's a puzzle where you have to physically put pieces together, but in order to get the pieces, you have to run to your side, do the hall brawl, and bring the piece to the other side, and then do it again and do it again. Like that's like the multiple rounds. Or like, instead of there being a situation where like all you have to do is run back to your board, then run back with like the answer to this puzzle, like make that be like when you have to cross paths or whatever. Like there were versions of this that would have been more true to a hall brawl and would have been more exciting to watch. They just didn't do it.
absolutely,
It
absolutely.
was giving cheeses of American Gladiators with the
Mhm.
little pad they're running through,
Yeah.
looking like they're running through the gauntlet. It was just once again kind of underwhelming because I definitely agree with Gina. Like, definitely you could have added more stakes. Because correct me if I'm wrong on the challenge. Don't they normally go like best 2 out of 3 or something like that for a hall brawl?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, so there has to be some kind of element of just like more than just one time having to go with physical contact, because then you go use your muscle, then you got to go use your brain, and it just it's a hall brawl is physical. You're supposed to get down and dirty.
And like the hall brawl piece to this competition didn't really matter. It was just
It
like, all right,
didn't.
like you kind of run at each other, but then like now you run and you do a puzzle. Like, no, it doesn't really matter that like you had to kind of like scooch past each other. Like that didn't affect anything.
Right.
Because whoever got to the puzzle first, their opponent was getting there like 3 seconds late, like at the most. Like the only way that this would have been an advantage in the hall brawl is if somebody got laid out so bad that they weren't able to get up to do the rest of the puzzle.
Mhm. Mhm.
I
To
hope we
Gina's
never see
point,
this
there's even another version of that could have been interesting. It would not quite have been a whole brawl, but do you remember that challenge? It was like few seasons ago. They did it like in the dirt, and you actually had to do what Gina was saying. Like you had to run from side to side and get your pieces, but you had to cross through the middle, and then like people would bump into you and stuff like that. Like there was a physical element to this as well as getting things across. Maybe there were team colors and like smoke went off or something. Like I don't know. We'll have to like look into this and find this. But what if you put like 4 girls in there and then they're crossing back and forth? It's like this is a double, and then like get that done, and then you do the men and have like just 2 of them go. Like that could have been more exciting or something. Anything but this. Yeah.
I hope
You're right. Whole role became completely devalued because it was really about the puzzle.
It was irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got the feeling that even with the puzzle, they're just running back and saying numbers. I didn't think anyone was counting anything. They just kept going back 7, 9, 10, 11.
You would see Fessy just running back and forth. He wasn't even looking at the board anymore.
That's what I'm saying. No, I think it's more just about running back and forth and just saying a new number. Like I don't think he actually knew 10.
No, he definitely didn't, because he got his first guess wrong, and then he just kept running back and you just had to get back to the puzzle station.
Yeah,
so he just kept running back, touching it, and then running back and saying a number. That's all he was doing.
Like not a challenge. That's nothing.
Yeah, I hope that they never do this again, or if they're gonna try to include like another element to Hall Brawl, like just execute it better.
Yeah, because this wasn't it.
But yeah, for the men though, we had Fessy and Josh. That was the matchup there, and then I actually thought that the matchup for the women was interesting because Cassidy, you know, I've enjoyed Cassidy. She's done well on the season. She's won 3 eliminations, but we've seen in the recent past on the show that like certain remarks that Cassidy made about how she's been down and won. Some people haven't been down at all and getting a clear shot of Chanel. And what do we end up with in the last elimination for the women is Cassidy and Chanel. So that was a fun matchup.
It was indeed fun.
I'm sad to see Cassidy go, but I am happy that Chanel won. I'm glad that she got a chance to come down and like prove herself, going into the final.
Yeah, now she gets her confidence going into it.
Yeah,
like I can do this. I beat Cassidy.
But I just feel like I don't know, like people are talking bad down on Chanel. Y'all forget in that oil wrestling, she went 30 minutes with Michaela.
That's what I was saying last week. Like I don't know why we're talking about like she didn't do anything. Like that was an insane matchup.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Michaela, I'm 200 and mind your business pounds. I'm to go against Michaela in that oil, and I'm a grown ass man.
I just roll myself out. Just forget it. Thank you.
And so for Chanel to go in, they were in there for 30 minutes. They were in there so long the oil started being mixed with rainwater. That's how long they were keeping it out 1-on-1.
And like they looked like freaking WrestleMania. Like she was not, she was no slouch.
They were like flipping each other over at one point. Like that was wild. Like UFC moves. That's what it looked like at times. Like either one of them definitely could have won that. So I think this whole, I got to tell you, so, now that we know Josh lost, Fessy wins, Cassidy loses, Chanel wins. So our final is set. And I got to tell you, like, this is going to be a great final, I think. I think everybody looks so strong.
Yeah. Who do we have for the men?
So for the men, it's Chris, Corey, Bananas, and Fessy. And then for the women, it's going to be Michaela, Desi, Chanel, and Tori. I mean, this is like a stacked final.
Yeah.
It's a sick group, yeah.
This is very exciting.
This is definitely an upgrade from season 1, and I'm talking to you, Enzo.
God.
I'm talking to you, Enzo.
That's right.
You let
Enzo,
him know.
Yeah.
Enzo, the reason that Desi was eliminated from the final on the first season of the Challenge USA.
Pepperidge Farm didn't forget. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Oh, God. Yeah. Nobody's dropping out of this one. It's going to take an injury to get somebody out of this one.
Right.
So
the only person who would drop out, possibly, I don't think he would, but like give them food stuff, and Fessy's going to have a rough go. Fessy don't like to do the food.
Oh, yeah.
That would be the only potential quit.
Didn't they show a tease of that? I thought I saw a tease.
I think we saw Corey. I think it was Corey really really
Corey always struggles with that
letting
too.
loose. Yeah, he was really letting some demons out.
I didn't watch the preview because I was too emotionally distraught to watch any more TV that night. So
Yeah. Well, don't
I
worry.
said because Josh was saying at one point he was like, "Oh, like this is my karma for voting in bananas. Like this is like I did this to myself. Like this is now that's what I was like. Is this my karma? Because I've been hyping Fessy up all season when I usually read him to filth. And I think this is my karma now. I did a bad thing. I said nice things about the person I don't like, and the person I do like goes home. Is my fault.
I don't know. This season's been kind of this. It's kind of been this running theme of like you do one wrong vote, it comes back to bite you hard in the ass.
Yeah.
We saw it with Michelle, and now we kind of saw it with Josh.
Yeah.
It's that karma.
And
also a fake hopper.
Well,
yeah.
I felt personally victimized by the hopper in this episode.
And you should. You've been victimized all season, honestly.
Yeah. Bananas had 5 votes. Josh had 2. And we know it only takes 1, but
It happened to Alyssa L earlier this season, so she had one ball out of all them other people, all them other balls, and it got her. So
that's wild. I do have to say about the vomiting. Don't worry, Gina. We always like to have for the finale. Gina loves a good vomiting montage.
I'm not coming.
So we'll make sure. We'll make
I'm
sure
busy
that we
that
have
day.
that ready to go.
Can't make it. I'm feeling sick that day.
Yeah. Do you think this final? You think they're going to do the same thing they've been doing with the like trading off of pairs and everything like that? You'll start with one partner, then the next stage you'll have somebody else.
Maybe.
I like that.
Yeah, because we don't have an Enzo, we don't have any dead weight. We have 8 strong, capable people that can pull their own weight. So I would definitely be I wouldn't object to that format returning.
But with this crew, I also wouldn't mind seeing everybody just do it individually. Everyone's doing their own thing, and the men just have their winner, and the ladies have theirs, and that's that. Let's see what you can just put up or shut up.
Yeah.
You can't blame your team member. Oh, so-and-so couldn't swim so fast. That's why we lost. So adding all this time.
Yeah.
The fights are fun. The fights are fun. But and I'd appreciate both. But certainly not the same duo the whole time. It has to be swapping if we're going to.
Sure.
Yeah.
That would be boring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. I hope it's a good. Rebecca says it looks like it's all individual. I'm hoping for that.
I wouldn't mind that.
Be interesting.
Yeah. I don't any hopes for what we might see in the final. Anything that you guys are looking forward to in the final that you're not sure if we're going to see or not, but from previous finals that you hope they bring back again or something like that.
There's probably going to be some sort of challenge where they got to if they are in partner, even if they're single, they probably somewhere they got to carry something heavy across a field or something like that, where they got to carry something heavy because these finals are designed to push them to the brink of death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm curious, because we've seen injuries in finals recently, right? The one where Olivia, for example, was using that what was it?
The slingshot.
That thing, the slingshot, and she got hit in the face. I wonder if they'll do any adjustments on safety and things like that.
I have a feeling we will not see a slingshot for a long time.
You think so?
I mean, after what happened to Olivia, I think they're going to cut their losses with that slingshot for a while.
Do you think we get an overnighter with this crew? I feel like that's more of an MTV thing. I don't know. We'll get that in this world.
No, I mean,
we got it in USA
time.
1, right? Because that's what got Angela. Is that she
went to bed instead of.
Yeah.
Was that the final though? I thought that was right before.
No, that was the final.
That was the final.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I like the overnights.
Yeah. Oh, me too. All right. I think that's all that I personally had for this episode. I felt like we said, a very clear-cut episode. It was just whittling down the field to get to the final. Does anybody have anything else for this?
I'm sorry. These comments are freaking killing me.
What's going on? What's going on in the comments?
Well, Rebecca is the one who had said that it looks like the final is going to be all individual, right? And she said based on the next on, but then she quickly covered, and she wants us to not quote her, even though now we are, because now it's getting so much attention. She doesn't want to be quoted because she will not get the Gina Otev slander. Yeah, that's because Gina like so confidently had declared during our spoiler night that it was Otev this week. It was Otev.
I thought it was. I was led to believe, and I was
Yeah,
mistaken.
we were lied to.
Right.
We were lied to.
So good. Yeah. So that's all. That's what's going on in the comments.
All right.
That's all.
Does anybody have anything else for this episode, though, or anything else challenge related?
I was going to say, who's everyone? I guess who's everyone's winner pick for each side, and who do you want to win? Not who do you think will win. Who do you want to win?
I don't get to play.
Yeah, Gina.
Well, I could play. I could play for the men because I was incorrect in that spoiler.
So I know for the women, Desi is both my winner pick and the one that I want to win. She has been my pick for the women from the very beginning, and she's really the only one I've truly stand this whole time. But for the men, originally we had all been rooting for Lewis, formerly of The Amazing Race, because we love Lewis. He's a friend of the pod, but he was out. And now for the men, I can't help but root for Chris, and I kind of see him winning it on the streak that he's on. I mean, there's other more, seasoned veterans in there. So I guess, he could fall short. But right now I'm thinking Chris and Desi are going to win this thing.
With Chris's arc for this season, it would be such a satisfying win.
Yeah.
And for Desi too, looking at what happened to her last season, that would also be really, really satisfying,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. Especially, I can say for myself that coming into the season, I wasn't a big fan of Chris. Like, I wasn't some of the people that were looking down upon his win, because he came in and did what he had to do. You kill the king, you become the king. And he did what I never had any grips with his survivor win. But his first part of his sloppy gameplay really turned me off. And I guess now since he forced himself into that underdog position, he kind of won me over, because he talked less and let his actions do the talking. He said, I'm not going to do all this scheming. I'm just going to go down this sand and whoop y'all behind.
I'm just going to go down here and do what I have to do.
Time after time. And he kind of won me over like that. I was like, okay, you need to talk about it. Just be about it. I kind of like that. So I would like Chris to win. I'm not sure if he's my winner pick for the men. I think my winner pick might be Corey.
Ooh.
Wow.
I'd love to see Corey get a win.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Something in my spirit tell me that, I don't know. Corey has been like kind of not a main figure this season, but really, truth be told, none of the men really have this season.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like with some of the editing tricks, I don't know if they're trying to make it feel like they're setting him up. This is going to be his big time. This is going to be his big moment.
Right. I'd love to see Corey win. And I totally agree with you, Josh, on everything you said about Chris, by the way, because I felt the same way. Sloppy gameplay in the beginning, was not a fan of him, but you cannot argue with the performance that he's put up over the last 5-6 weeks. So it's like,
and not the hustle.
But I totally agree with you though, with everything that you said. I've been on the same exact ride with Chris as you throughout the season. So
I think we all were. Because I wasn't a huge Chris fan the beginning of this season. That certainly turned around, because he was in such a bad position. He kept fighting his way out of it.
Yeah.
I'm also here for a Fessy win, though. Sorry, I am here for that. I mean,
you'll never hear me saying that.
I'm still saying Chris first, but I would love to see Fessy win. I still think that while his social gameplay is always less than mid, this season I would say was pretty mid, because if not a little bit better, right? Because he's usually people's target, and it
was a good season for him, I will say.
He really wasn't this season, so that there must be something to say about his social prowess. Okay, but I don't know. I just think he's always performed physically, and it's time for him to get a win. So if it's individual, maybe he has a really good shot at that. We'll see what happens with the food. But for the ladies, I think I really want a Michaela win at this point. You know, I came into this season really, really, really hard on Desi, and I still am too. But like Michaela and just the way that she has performed, like you had mentioned before, in the beginning of this stream, and even I think Bananas had even made a mention of it. Like this woman, when she gets scared, the way it looks like she's just not going to be able to perform, and then all of a sudden she completely crushes it and then cries after. Like she truly is the exact opposite of how most people would handle like challenges like that. And that's just so impressive to watch. So like I really want Michaela to win this one. But there's really nobody that I'm not rooting for other than Tori.
Right.
Yes, I'm rooting for Tori.
Just Tori. I just don't want Tori to win. Otherwise, I'm really rather pleased with everyone.
It's a solid final.
Yeah.
Very solid group. Like I'm with you, Kyle. Like she's who I want to win, but I think I'm with John. I think Desi. That's my winner prediction.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Fair.
Wow. I'm just so excited because, like we've been saying, like there's no bad winners here other than Tori.
Yes,
Tori, I want a 4th place finish, but everybody else, I'm down with. So, I like this. Bori.
Bori is so funny.
Come in last place on their respective sides.
Oh, come on. We love Johnny Bananas.
Bori is crazy.
Oh, man.
Is anybody watching him on House of Villains?
Yes.
Come on, House of Villains. This show is going to be really good.
Look,
I want to watch. It's just I need to get some shows off of my roster.
Look, the episode's on YouTube. The first episode is on YouTube.
Okay. It's on the NBC app. It's on the NBC app as well.
It's on the NBC app.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why they couldn't just put it on Peacock, but it is on the NBC
So I was like, do you
app.
mean Peacock?
No, I don't. I had to download a whole separate app, messed up all my very nice setup OCD lines on my tablet. You know, I got this one extra icon now. It's like, but I have to watch it. I've already watched this episode twice. It's so good. House of Villains.
Twice too.
It's so good. So many good moments.
It's giving kind of teases of like I Love Money from back in the day.
Oh,
I loved that show.
With all the messiness, all the drama, all the just cussing each other out, the fights. Yes, I'm here for it. I am here for it.
Yeah. So
there's
that.
Yeah.
There's my
check it out.
Bananas plug.
Do you think, I think Bananas could continue to compete on the challenge for a while, but he is getting older. He's done a lot of seasons. Do you think that like we might see a point where Bananas starts to take some time off from the challenge and starts doing more of these other shows?
Oh, I hope so.
I mean, he's branching out a lot lately.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be gone when he's like too old to compete on the challenge. I think he'll be around still.
Because wasn't he rumored to be on like the Traders this season?
Yeah,
it was a rumor.
Yeah, so he's getting like people are like he's trying to get booked and busy, and like of all the people from the challenge world, he's not the worst pick to be all out of the place because he kind of is the face of the challenge in a way. He's one of the main people you would think of.
Right. I wonder if TJ retires, if Bananas will start hosting the challenge.
That's a good shout, but I don't think TJ's ego would allow him to retire.
Right. TJ.
I don't think he needs to yet either. Like he's got.
Not that he needs to. Yeah. Imagine a 90-year-old TJ just like trivia is my favorite. All right. Well, I guess that wraps this up, right? Anybody have any other thoughts for the benefit of the community before we start to wrap this up? Okay. Josh, remind everybody. I know you mentioned it already, but remind everybody where they can find you.
You can find me, myself, and I in these thighs on Twitter at @NoChillJosh_. But as for me and my people, you can find us on Twitter at @WhoAllThere and on YouTube on @WhoAllThere podcast. We're also on Apple Music and Spotify.
Excellent. Yeah. Anybody that's watching or listening that hasn't tuned in to Who All going to be there yet, please do so. They're so much fun. They're a great
Mhm.
podcast. Very
Absolute
good friends
best.
of ours. So yeah, please check them out. And of course, check us out as well. You know, we're Strat Chat Podcast. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod on all the social media platforms, including Blue Sky. So check us out too. Hang out with us. And what do we have going on the rest of the week here? So tonight at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be talking BB25 with our friend James Lott Jr. of JLJ Media. And then this Thursday, we'll be wrapping up the week of Big Brother 25 with this whole invisible HOH and everything. So that's what we have coming up this week. And I think that's it, right? Anything else? We're done.
No. Just thanks a lot for hanging. Tonight was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming, Josh.
No, thanks for having me. Like, this was a lot of fun. I missed talking about the challenge because us over at A Who All Gonna Be There, we kind of treated it like Empire. We missed one episode and we just never got back on.
The problem, yeah, I totally get it though. There's just too much to watch right now and cover.
And low key, like a lot of it's kind of good. Like, y'all watch Buddy Games?
I dropped Buddy Games.
We were watching it, but
did you watch episode 3?
I think I watched the first 2.
I think it was on
3 is the only one I saw.
Episode 3 is like where from 3 and on. Yes, so if y'all find time, I suggest picking back up on episode 3 because it is just it's giving.
Okay.
All right.
See, the issue is there's so many other things now because BBUK is back, and and that's been fun for many different reasons. I'm also watching The Traitors Canada, so we're busy with that. I mean, now we got House of Villains. What else is happening? I feel like there's other things too.
Well, I mean, there's the 3 shows we're covering.
Right. There's just a lot going, and BBUK is on 6 days a week. So I'm really
Absurd.
like busy. Yeah, it's like once you start, you're not going to stop is the problem. So it's like, unless you feel like you have the time, just don't even bother.
Well, it'll be on Paramount Plus. The season wrapping up, gonna be not wrapping up. It's only 5 episodes deep, but yeah, there'll be something to maybe watch after everything else is done in the meantime, in between time. After yes, we also about that. Yeah, Rebecca, ain't nobody talking about that Amazing Race.
I like Amazing Race. I just don't have time.
Ain't nobody talking about that Amazing Race. I'm talking about the Amazing Race on the Reality Guys. That's our other friendly podcast. But that's it. Like people are dropping off on that. They don't.
There's a lot of new shows. Like they have a new game show on CBS, Raid the Cave, which is actually also kind of good too. I don't know if it's Shop Till You Drop back in the day.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
It's giving pieces of that.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, it's a lot better than Loteria Loca. I'll tell you that.
Oh, they're pushing that show hard.
Yeah, I see that. I see that commercial all the time. I see that commercial.
Look, I was at home. I was hosting a watch party for the Price is Right Survivor episode, Price is Right at Night, because we went there. We went to the show. I'm in LA, so. And like Loteria Loca came on. It's like, okay, let's try watching the show. 5 minutes on, I was like, nope. And then we started having game nights. It was like, I tried, but
not
like
even in the background.
Like 5 minutes, it's like, nah, that ain't it.
Oh man. All right. Well, lots to watch, lots to talk about. Yeah, this was a lot of fun though. Thank you so much, Josh, for hanging out with us.
Anytime. I got nothing but time.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon then. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching our coverage of the Challenge USA, and we will be seeing you very soon.
Another 10 minutes.